This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
My name is Desiree, and I'm a first-generation college student.
I'm Zach. I'm undecided in my major, and I'm a catcher.
This message was sent to you.
$500 down the toilet along with your performance. You are worthless.
Get the hell off the field before you lose me any more money, you sorry
This is wrong.
I'm more than a bet.
Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Man.
What you just said.
Take care, Polly Wally.
Why don't you put your pants back on, Slappy?
Stop him! Stop him! Stop him!
Hello, you're on the air.
Little hoop action. Little baseball action. Little hoop action.
Hell yes!
Paul, it's a pleasure to be with you today.
9 to noon.
9 to noon.
And he's
P.A.
I'm here to serve you.
Isn't that something? Wasn't that good?
Thank you, Minneapolis.
I gotta turn this down, Bob.
Alrighty now. What's Mexico like in the summer? And good morning.
And good morning. Hot. Caliente.
Yeah.
Picante.
Is it caliente or humid caliente?
It's very humid caliente.
Is it
yeah,
really?
It's obviously beautiful, but I think it's their raining season, so it gets a little bit more wet there and a little bit more humid. And
you slather on the sunscreen, don't you?
Slather it on. Oh yeah, I'm the type to sit out in the sun for a couple minutes and then opt for the umbrella and the shade because I do not want to look like a red.
And a drink with an umbrella in it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Mas tequila, por favor.
The voice of Parker Fox helps us start 9 to noon. I'm Paul Allen. Nordo produces at Parker Fox 24 via X if you are interested in following and or so inclined. And we welcome Parker back into the Covenant. We welcome him home. How much did you enjoy the NBA draft?
It was fun. Yeah, ironically, Taylor's League, the PWHL, had their draft the night before, so we watched that, and then we got the NBA draft last night, and then we have the second round of the NBA draft tonight. So it's 3 straight draft nights for me.
NHL draft on Friday night.
Is that so? Wow.
Superfecta, maybe?
How do you not know that?
I didn't.
With respect.
I'm so out of the NHL draft because I just don't. It's just so different than the NBA draft, right? It's just like these kids that you don't even hear play in the NHL for the next 3-4 years, but I'll watch it. I'll tune in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand what you're saying. Like, the NHL draft is full of nothing but 18 or 19-year-olds who started playing hockey a half decade ago, are found in Europe, and might not play for 3 years.
I always love that one.
I mean, what a stark contrast.
They dug into us, man.
There's no doubt.
They're over here now. They're over here now. No, it was. I love the NBA draft. I've always been a fan. I've always kind of put on my GM cap when watching it and tried to figure out where guys are going to go. And then I love, the new era of this NBA draft is, we see, like you said, so many of these foreign overseas guys that nobody really knows, right? Like you look at our pick, he averaged 4 points, 4 rebounds. Like who knows what this guy could be or what it is, but it's so fun to go and kind of discover these guys. And France was highlighted huge last night. And there's a lot of French kids in the first round.
Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
Does he remind you of any NBA players, current or past? And good morning.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that come to name with Cooper Flagg. I think he's got a really high ceiling, right? I think he's got a Kevin Durant type of ceiling. And I think his floor is really high too, maybe like a Trevor Ariza type of floor. So somewhere in that kind of range. It's interesting, right? Because when you talk about the first pick, you usually think of teams that are not very good, right? Teams that don't have a lot of talent, teams that don't have a chance to make a playoff run the next year. That's not the case with this Dallas Mavericks team. Cooper Flagg's going to go to a front court that is highlighted by Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, and Daniel Gafford.
Oh, geez.
Like, that's a lot of talent.
I'm up in here forgetting about AD when I'm talking about the Mavericks.
That's a lot of talent in your front court. And then you look at your backcourt, and you got a hurt Kyrie Irving right now, but come January and come playoff run, you're going to have Kyrie Irving, you're going to have Max Christie, you're going to have Jaden Hardy.
Skeletal remains of Claymaker.
You're going to have Klay Thompson. So it's like, this is a roster that it's got a really good chance.
They might be looking at D'Lo in the interim.
I have heard that. Yeah, they're gonna go out there and get some sort of free agent type of point guard to fill the void of Kyrie Irving for the time being. D'Lo's obviously a name that's being thrown out there. So what an awesome opportunity for Cooper Flagg, and he highlighted it last night. He wants to be a sponge. He's the youngest guy in the draft. He's 18 years old.
He's younger than our guy?
He's not younger than our guy. Our guy's the second youngest guy in the draft.
Oh, geez.
And what an opportunity to go learn from the likes of Anthony Davis, who was in his shoes just 10, 12 years ago, something like that. So I think he's going to have an awesome opportunity in front of him, and hopefully he makes the most of it, because I'm really high on the kid. I think he's a future Hall of Famer.
We can go numbers or positions if you prefer. Which one do you prefer? Point guard or one? Small guard or two?
I like saying the 1, the 2, the 3. Yeah.
Is Cooper a 3 or a 4 or a 3.5?
I think he's a 3.5. I think he's a guy. It kind of depends on your roster, right? Like, and if I look at him next year, I think he's a 3. I think Anthony Davis plays the 4. I think Derek Lively plays the 5. I think Cooper Flagg plays the 3. Klay Thompson at the 2. So
that's formidable.
And that's a lot of size too. That's a lot of size, a lot of length,
and the right kind of size too.
Yeah, right.
And that's why it's never going to happen because, as the kids would say, fans are going to fan.
Yep.
But from the Gobert trade and all the picks given away, and then near the end of the season, we got a civil war. We got Rudy Gobert punching slow-mo, all right, on our bench in our arena.
Oh, God.
That's bad for business. So if you took that the initial shock of what was given, what you saw and what was received and what was achieved, which wasn't much that year, and you made that the blanket scenario, well, the next year you look like an idiot. Well, it's the same thing with the Mavericks and the Luka Doncic trade. And I'm not saying my man, the GM who couldn't even sit in his seat.
Yeah.
They were booing him so loudly. No, granted, I mean, Luka he's a generational kind of guy who was beloved in a massive, massive market. But brakes need to be pumped a little bit until you see the totality of what's developed. Because the way you just laid that whole thing out, and I put this guy with Lively and/or Gafford and Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving wants to come back.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's like there were some stories I was looking at yesterday where, like, Kyrie could have gotten so much more, and if he had just, like, hardballed. No, Kyrie's like, nah. I mean, don't you see what I see right here?
Totally. Like,
I want to be with this.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Nico Harrison's sitting there laughing.
You know what I'm
saying? He's like, yeah, I got rid of Luka, but look what I have now. Now there's some luck involved, right? Like they had a 1.8% chance to get the first pick, and half of that's because Josh Giddey had a half court shot for the Bulls versus the Lakers. Like there's a lot of things that need to take place, but
they did.
But they took place.
And you know what else took place? Luka finished a postseason series out of shape and exposed and chided, which the general manager knew that's the guy I didn't want. Yes, he's good, and they love him, and he's generational. But there are about 3 things with him I don't want. And I'll roll the dice on Giddey from half court against the Lakers in Chicago in dramatic fashion, and the dice came up right. I get this guy to go with these guys. I'm gonna be good.
Yeah, if you're Nico Harrison, you're thanking somebody out there.
Well, he's GM of the year next year.
GM of the year next year, no doubt about it. Yeah, you're right, PA. It sucks, right? Like there's so many fans you hurt getting rid of Luka because he is almost like a cult hero type of following type of guy.
Those same fans will have game-worn flags.
They'll be ready
within
to go.
the first 4 games of the season.
Exactly.
And because of the 2025 era attention span, Luka will be an afterthought. Cooper Flagg will be the new Luka.
I love it. I agree.
Don't you think?
I agree.
But just think about how hot that thing got and everything.
My
man couldn't even sit in his seat at
fair
home games. He couldn't. No, this is serious.
You're right.
I mean, when a general manager can't sit in his seat at home games because rubes are yelling too much at him. Rubes will Rube, right?
Rubes will Rube, man.
That's 10 to 10, right? I mean, they got vigils outside of the arena. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, this is classic. Like, I don't know. I think it's a little fair weather fan type. Like, hey, let's jump on the bandwagon of hating somebody here. And now when they start the year 15-0 and Cooper Flagg's averaging 20-10 and Anthony Davis is healthy, like, people turn their heads a little bit, but
the only thing missing outside of the vigil was a pallet of bricks. Nobody knows where it came from.
I always love that one.
It's just crazy, seriously. Oklahoma City and Dallas are the targets at which to shoot in the Western Conference. Now, this is, you can say the Timberwolves are in this equation.
Yeah, they are.
So, like, if you're on the ticket in Dallas, or if you're on KHCK in OKC. Well, they may be saying Dallas and the Wolves are the targets at which to shoot in the West, but we're here at the Fan, KFAN. OKC and Dallas, the targets at which to shoot, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think Dallas, they depend on their health, right? Like, Anthony Davis is a guy who's been notoriously injured, been notoriously have nagging injuries, and you have an older Klay Thompson, and you have a Kyrie Irving coming off of an injury. So there's some pieces there that still need to be filled for that team. But in terms of talent, they have a lot going on, and they have an awesome player in Cooper Flagg moving forward. You move to Oklahoma City, yeah, they just won the championship. They dominated everybody. Coming.
Not really.
Well, I guess Indiana, right, gave them a good run, and we can talk about that.
They were going to get beat.
They were going to get.
If Tyrese doesn't pop the Achilles,
he was balling to start the game.
These are two coming down to the wire together.
He was,
and I'm taking the long shot in the match race.
Yeah, Indiana.
I like Halliburton in the clutch every time in that conversation.
I do too. I do too, and I think you got to give Indiana a lot of credit because they play their tails off. But Oklahoma City is still a huge factor in the West, and they added a guy in Nick Clifford who can fill a lot of roles. He's a guy out of Colorado State, coached by our now Gopher coach Nico Medved, that fills some voids for Oklahoma City in their offensive scoring. They're such a great defensive team, right? Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso, Lou Dort, some of these perimeter defenders. Now you bring in a guy like Nick Clifford that can do a lot of different things. I think he's going to have an awesome opportunity there in Oklahoma City to make them even better.
Nick Clifford, Colorado State.
Yes.
Yeah. He. What'd you like about him?
Oh, just his versatility. He's 6'8", 6'9", just super athletic. I played against him in a preseason game 2 years ago, and just his confidence with the ball and his ability to score around the rim and shoot the three and defend at a really high. He's an Oklahoma City type of player. He does everything very well, and he defends at a really high rate, and been coached really well throughout his career. So who knows, right? It's tough to join a championship team and carve yourself out a role, especially when you end up bringing a lot of guys back. But if anybody can do it, I think it's him.
Nordo gets the first crack. Here we go.
What's that?
With the 17th overall pick.
Oh.
The Minnesota Timberwolves selected.
I'm going to go with Juan Berenguer.
Watch your language in front of the lady,
or is it Jay? Bering J.
Parker?
Yeah.
I listened to the commissioner say it.
I heard it 5 times last night.
It has to be Berenger, right?
So the commissioner butchered it. A Vox who called his games in Slovenia or in Europe somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't think it was France, though.
No, it wasn't France. I think you're right with Slovenia.
The way he was saying it is what I'm going with. What's your take on the name?
I'm going Johan Berenger.
Watch your language in front of the lady, punk!
What I heard was Johan Berenger.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a bear when I first saw it. I thought it was a Berenger.
Johan, okay.
And I thought we had a Joan up in the mix.
Berenger would be just this 6'7" white log hair shooter from the perimeter.
See, this is tough.
Oh, geez.
We're going to need Aaron Freeman to help us because I'm seeing Juan, like Zhoo.
Oh, great.
So Juan Berenger.
Watch your language in front of the lady, punk!
We got time. We got time to figure this out.
I think we got a couple years to really learn his name. I think we gotta be patient here.
All right, he's a French big to the Timberwolves at pick 17. My man is 18 years of age, turns 19 in November. Now, like a lot of these players, his highlight clips are unbelievable.
Yeah, like everybody's, right?
Yes, but I mean, you like Medved or Jace Richardson or certain players, Derek Queen with the walk-off. I mean, you see a series of certain things, but when you see somebody who's 6'11" or 7 feet, running like a gazelle.
Loved that aspect.
And just doing things where you think, wow, let me get this straight. So he was bored during the pandemic. He looked for a hobby, decided to pick up a basketball, and now 5 years later, he's getting a $4 million contract. So from 14 to 18, if that's the trajectory, if that's the improvement, what's the 18 to 24 or 25 trajectory?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a story I read where it either was one of the more perplexing things I've read or one of the most adorable things I've read when he said, I really started to work on my mid-range game last year, and I'm starting to hit some shots.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm like, okay, well, if the analytics people heard that, well, they just all threw up.
Don't
because
ever
they're
shoot
negative
the
on.
mid-range.
Yeah, they're
please. If Baron J is listening to this right now, stay out of the mid-range, brother.
So it's either the most adorable thing I've heard, or it's like, okay, well, this is the by faith approach where you look at it and you're like, clearly they know more about the totality of this situation than we do.
Yeah.
We know what we just saw here on these highlight clips. And my man's, he's not big on the three, so the Chet Holmgren comparison here
out of the equation
might not work, but Chet runs the court.
Yep.
So, like, you watch him run the court, and then you watch this kid block shots and rebounds, and you see a little Jared Allen from Cleveland. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I can mesh those two right there, but we just might have to wait a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you're Tim Conley, you clearly look at the defensive. I don't even want to say capability because I don't think it's still there yet. I think it's going to take some time, but long, athletic, clearly has blocked shots. Now, can you do that in the NBA against guys that, can finish at different levels than you did in Slovenia? It's going to be tougher, but
his athletic ability is otherworldly.
Yes, it's clearly there, and it's clearly Tim Conley saying, hey, we're a team that wants to win in the low hundreds. We don't want to go out and compete with a team and try to score 140. And look at what Oklahoma City did. They were a team that wanted to win in the 100s, right? And this is going to take time, and it's going to be a couple years, but Tim Conley is clearly prioritizing defense and interior defense because the NBA it's threes and it's layups. 3-and-D. It's 3-and-D and it's threes and layups, right? Yeah. So if a team's not shooting the three, where are they going to go? They're going to go inside. And if you have a guy with the capability to block shots and grab rebounds on the defensive end, you got to hope it works out. And Tim Conley, we trust.
Preach.
So I saw this, and I'm not trying to liken him to him, but kind of in the idea of Justin Patton, who was drafted by the Wolves in 2017. He was a center prospect. A lot of people liked him. Creighton, exactly. Never really pans out. I think he's still playing. He's carved out a career for himself on the international side of things. But in the idea that if a Malawach or a Sorber or somebody like that, let's say they fall, there were some fans that like, this guy's not going to help me immediately. We're on the doorstep here trying to get into the NBA finals and win a title. And it feels like a project. There's a developmental side of this, which is obvious. Second youngest player in the draft. So do you feel that maybe if someone with a little bit more age and experience on their side falls, that they go that route? Or did it always feel if they were going to go with a big that they wanted to find that high-end projection of athleticism that you're getting from the French kid?
Yeah, I think it's so hard with not knowing what Julius and Naz are going to do yet, right? Like, I think if Julius and Naz, and I don't think this is going to happen, I truly now believe that both those guys are going to come back and beat Timberwolves next year, which is why you draft this guy, right? I think that's maybe a telling sign. But you're right. If there is a world where Naz and Julius were already gone and you needed somebody to kind of step in right away, then you're maybe looking at somebody different, right? And then you're maybe looking like at a Asa Newell. He's a guy that I had mentioned out of Georgia, played with Cooper Flagg at Mountain Verde Academy. So that's kind of a guy that has played and has been in it. But now I'm in a position where it's like I think Naz and Julius and Nah and these guys are going to be back in a Wolves jersey next year, and I think it's going to look very similar to what it did last year. Hopefully, we can go find some sort of point guard type of talent to help us in the backcourt. But I think it's an awesome opportunity for this kid because, hey, he's a French kid who's probably looked up to Rudy Gobert, probably put himself in Rudy's shoes, and now he gets to learn from Rudy while speaking French. I think this is an awesome opportunity.
You definitely can't trade Rudy now.
No,
now that you got his countrymen in the mix.
I don't think we ever were, right? I think Rudy was a staple of what Tim Conley wanted to do interior defensively, but now
then we had last postseason.
That's true.
And you can't lay on 24-20 and make it the 10 of 10.
I agree.
Go to, but 24-20.
Yeah,
but 24-20. No, you can't.
No.
Okay, so I'm not championing the peddling of Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
But we all know what we saw and against whom.
Mm-hmm.
So being racetrack raised, taking this stakes beast we have here and running in a race against that version of the Lakers.
Totally.
Okay, well that's not the OKC class.
Yeah.
Warriors, not the OKC class. Stepped up in class, and clearly there were some identifiable problems.
Yeah.
And pardon the pun, but really, I mean, none bigger than that.
Yeah.
So much so his minutes got cut dramatically.
And you're right. And I think Tim Conley he's proven to be a guy that recognizes what we need to beat who we need to beat, right? Like right now it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. So what do you need? Well, we can't really get anything else in terms of our front court, especially if those guys stay. So now we have to look at our back court. Do we like Walter Clayton? Yeah, we like him, but we just traded up to draft Rob last year. So do we draft another point guard? Probably not. We probably got to go out in free agency and see if we can get something, or we got to, try to trade a couple of pieces for Kobe White.
Clayton's better than Dillingham.
1,000% I agree. Like I would have loved to see Walter Clayton in a Timberwolves uniform, but it just doesn't make sense where we're at with Rob Dillingham on the roster.
Is that another age thing or a ceiling thing?
I think it's a.
You still believe that? I mean, again, just going right back to it's Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr.
Yeah.
Dillingham's ceiling could be higher, but Shannon is more mature and ready to play now.
Yeah.
How do you view that, changing Shannon to Mr. Clayton?
Yeah, I echo exactly what you said, right? Like, Clayton's a guy who's done it at the college level over a couple years. Like, Rob was good for his 1 year, but he didn't go win a national championship with Florida and be the guy and be Steph Curry-like shooting the three ball. Like, he's got to develop more. He's got to put in more time and effort. And yeah, I've heard he's grown a couple inches and he's gotten stronger. Like, that's awesome signs, right? But it takes some time, and Walter Clayton's a guy that's clearly developed. He's going to go to, I think he's going to Utah now, so it's like, now I got to watch him go 14 and whatever it is, 58 next year, and just be absolutely terrible.
And I got lost with all those trades last night.
There is so much going on.
Started out easy. They don't get to wear their own caps.
Yeah,
That's an
what's
every
up
year
with this,
complaint,
man? Like, wear the hat that the team you're actually going to go play for. Like, I never understood this. Not that they wear it any longer anyways. Half of them have braids and such big hair that you can't even fit the hat on. But like, let's give them the hat of the team they're going to go to. Like, this is the moment you're going to remember for the rest of your life.
Well, here's the deal: is they have them.
Yes.
Because I watched last night Clayton on stage wearing a Wizards cap, a place he was never going to be. But then when he's talking with the media later, he's sitting down at a table, has a Jazz cap on.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they just make that happen on the front end?
How is it possible? Who runs the Washington Wizards?
That's a great question. I
mean, let's just be straight with this whole thing. I mean, they were the sucker born every day when they compensated Jordan Poole. Okay, well, now they got themselves out of that, so God bless them.
Will Dawkins.
Okay, but I mean, they're not bursting at the seams with point guard depth. So I just don't understand, if you're them, how you couldn't possibly want that Gator.
This is awesome, man. Let's talk Washington Wizards on a Thursday morning. I love it. This is a Wizards team they're so far gone, PA. Like, I don't think they have any chance. And I know this is home for you, right? Like, you grew up going to Wizards games and that's fun, but I don't know. What do you see with the Wizards? Is there
Gafford left and went to Dallas and went for 22-20 is like his first 10 games. Why? Because he was happy to leave.
Yeah.
Man, they have it's Ted Leonsis who has monumental.
He owns the Caps.
Monumental Sports and Entertainment. They own the Caps, Wizards, Mystics, and then the Capital City Go-Go, which is the G League team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Harris just rolls in, buys the Commanders, and is like, I don't need to play around with those second-tier sports in the capital city.
All right, hold on. This Parker's the bomb. Let's marathon this courtesy of Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. Steve's Appliances wants you to crush this 4th of July season and to save thousands of dollars on appliances. And the way to do that is extra manufacturer rebates from now through July 9th. Steve'sAppliances.com. It's up in Mounds View. Stop by the store and to save potentially thousands of dollars on appliances. These guys are absolutely fantastic. The 7,000 square foot showroom is in Mounds View. Steve'sAppliances.com to get more information. Head to the website, find something you like. Did you? Well, of course you did. You're an elite basketball mind. the guy who got taken right ahead of Johan Berenger.
I have him saying his own name, by the way, as well, if you want to hear it.
Yes, sir.
My name is Johan Berenger.
Jean Benjamin.
Jean Berenger.
My name
My
is
name is Johan Berenger.
Johan Berenger.
You have to put some peanuts in your
It's
mouth.
like yawn.
My name is Johan Berenger.
Jean Benjamin.
Yeah. Nous regardons la télévision, pourquoi? Anyway, je m'appelle Paul.
Sacre bleu.
Anyway, je m'appelle Paul, and welcome to KFAN.
Oui, oui.
How about the Chinese
Yang Hansen?
Are you kidding me with this? I'm not. I saw somebody said this, and then I went and watched the highlights, and I'm like, well, they didn't say it like this, but this Yang Hansen, who did he go to?
He went to Portland, but Memphis. Portland. It was a Memphis trade. Yeah.
Right. He's low-key Joker. Bro, he's low-key Joker. Okay? I mean, somebody said something about Nikola Jokic with this guy, so I'm like, okay, well, what? Go ahead and watch it.
I like it.
Go ahead and watch the highlights, ladies and gentlemen.
I saw him in the combine, and I saw him making some fancy passes. I'll give you some credit for that.
His passes are elite.
His life is predicated, free throw line extended, ball above his head, waiting for cuts, head and shoulder shakes, spins, awkward angle left, awkward angle right, and an occasional three.
But
this guy is low-key Joker.
I get it, but if you're the Portland Trailblazers,
that's no cap.
You're paying centers over almost $50 million.
I don't care what the Portland Trailblazers are doing.
Okay.
DeAndre Ayton is the skeletal remains of DeAndre Ayton. Okay?
Jonathan Klingum?
He blocks shots and he grabs rebounds. Robert Williams, for the 10 games he may play, he might block 25 shots during those 10 games.
Duop Reith?
He might block another 25 shots over 10 games. But this guy passes.
Yeah, he does.
In the land that gave us Arvydas Sabonis, who gave us Domantas Sabonis. And now we have Yang Hansen.
Yeah.
Say it's the highlights I saw, man. It just reminded me of low-key.
They're saying he has enough potential to be a starting caliber center in the NBA in only a few years. He's obviously got the height, he's got the length, but I think his feel for the game and just his vision is really elite. PA. I think he's got a chance to. I don't want to say Yao Ming, right? Like we don't want to go there right away, but.
He doesn't play anything like Yao Ming.
No, nothing like Yao Ming. But
he plays like Nikola Jokic.
There you go.
And it is fair. Man. Given the way the NBA is constructed with the bigs, jokers in the Western Conference, Connolly and Micah Nori. Good luck to Micah too with this next job, by the way.
Is it official?
No, I'm not saying these, but just good luck with the process.
Yeah, totally.
If all the reports are accurate.
Yeah, how awesome.
Super cool guy. And Finchy, they all were with Joker.
Yeah.
So I do think it is fair to wonder, at having absolutely no steam, and it was right in front of us. I wonder if we got sniped. I just wonder if we got sniped a little bit because this guy hits threes and Berenger doesn't hit threes.
And who drafted Jokic? Tim Conley.
Yes.
Yeah, during a Taco Bell commercial. So I think you're right. I think Tim Conley's obviously
just wondering.
He's had an eye for some of those overseas bigs that can play that French, that yet European style of hoops that's made its way into the NBA and we've seen it have success in the NBA. We might have got sniped. I'd love to ask him.
Speaking of that, by the way, with these big guys, the Malawach, the South Sudan, and the NBA as a presence. I mean, at some point, some guy saw him on the street and just said, "Hey, you're really tall. You should play basketball." Did that ever happen to you?
Did you hear that story? Yeah.
Oh,
it's crazy.
The guy got traded to the Suns.
These guys have played hoops for like 3-4 years, and they're lottery picks in the NBA. It's insanity.
Supposedly, there's a taxi driver driving down the streets of like Uganda, and he was walking on the streets and was like, "Hey, you're tall. You should try basketball out." And now you're making millions upon millions of dollars.
There's a dearth. There is a lack of a certain type of skill set being developed in the United States of America.
Oh my God.
I mean, well, I ain't trying to be Torrey Hunter talking about Major League Baseball, but what Nordo just said, and then now you think of Hansen and the guy we got. Those are all in the top 17.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I saw a stat that at any time there's between 70 and 90 people in the United States that are 7 feet or taller.
Yeah.
So that's not a lot of people. So a lot of them are going to end up in a cube in accounts receivable. A few of them will end up in the NBA. You got to go global.
Yeah.
So we got to use the entire map to find ourselves the 7-footer who can shoot.
Hopefully you're not that busy, P. Fox, because we'd like to keep you around for a little longer.
Yeah, I'd like to stay.
That's Parker Fox at Parker Fox via X. The Minnesota Timberwolves begin round 2 of the NBA draft tonight. With the 31st overall pick. It's 9:30. Good morning. Paul Allen, Nordo by my side. And courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. More P. Fox around the corner. Nacho Lieber joins us in studio about 10:03. And then the Wolves Vox, Alan Horton at 11. And Dane Moore from the Dane Moore podcast will take part. He'll join the equation in the final segment of the radio show. I mean, the getting is so good right now.
Totally.
We have Nous regardons la télévision pourquoi, taken at 17. We have P. Fox here. All he did was play Big Ten basketball against like half of the first round, which is the bomb. We have football in the middle with Nacho. We got the Vox nearing the end of the show, and he's an elite basketball mind. Oh, yeah, that's right. We have money to give away each and every weekday, 9 to noon. And here they are.
The Fan, along with BigDeck.com, want to give you a chance to win some bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword Bills. You can pay some by winning $1,000 with the keyword Bills at KFAN.com.
My name is Desiree, and I'm a first-generation college student.
I'm Zach. I'm undecided in my major, and I'm a catcher.
This message was sent to you.
$500 down the toilet along with your performance. You are worthless.
Get the hell off the field before you lose me any more money you sorry.
This is wrong.
I'm more than a bet.
Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Storm. It's jazzy on this Thursday. It's 9:36. Good morning. I brought this up yesterday, and once I remembered that you were coming in today, I got quite excited about it because, again, Parker Fox, a Big Ten basketball player, played against these guys, and that's really, really cool because if you play against Dylan Harper and or Ace Bailey, well, that means you are watching all 10 to get ready for them, which means you're game planning for them, which means you have elite basketball mind saying, I don't know, always goes over on the pick, never goes under. Let's expose this. Can't go to the left, take away this. Get him down on the block, and he's susceptible to this. So where the bones are buried when you have somebody like Parker who played against all these guys drafted in the first round, it's really, really cool, including Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
That's the Rutgers conundrum. Mm-hmm. And maybe this has been discussed, and maybe there's an outlier or something magnified that I'm missing. Harper went second to the Spurs, Bailey a few picks later to the Jazz. How is it possible to have 2 top 5 picks in the chat, as you would say, on the team, as I would say, and have a losing record in conference?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
A lot of volume for 2 guys versus a Michigan State team. Like, I don't know. You look at
they had 2 guys that went in the first round, and they were good.
Yeah, but, they're a team that there's no, how do I say this? There's no, Tommy Izzo doesn't care, right? Tommy Izzo doesn't give a damn. He's going to sub you out if one thing goes wrong. So I think when you look at Rutgers last year, you look at a team that had those 2 guys, and we lost to them, so I can't say anything. They beat us at their place.
But that March game was the only time you played them?
That was the only time we played them. Yeah, we only played them once, and it was at their place.
Bailey wasn't great, but Harper went off.
Yeah, Harper went off. Ace is a guy that's a super high volume guy, right? He's going to take a lot of shots. He's a video game type of player, can do any move, can make any shot, but he can also miss any shot. So when you talk about a team that has a lot of talent and it's front loaded like that, and you have to go into Purdue, who's got a complete game plan to stop those 2 guys and doesn't care what the rest of the guys do, that's just Big Ten basketball for you right now. Maybe if they were in a different conference with those 2, they could have found ways to win more games, but in the Big Ten, it's a complete team game, and you need more than just 2 guys.
Well, with those 2, What were they like to play against?
Yeah, Dylan Harper's elite. I think he's going to be fantastic, especially in the pick and roll. With Victor Wembanyama, what better type of guy would you want to play in the pick and roll? He's a guy that can pick and pop. He can go to the rim, and you can just throw that little lob up to him, and then he's got a really solid left-handed stroke right at that elbow. Chris Paul-esque in a way where can kind of get to his spot on the elbow and just rise up and knock down. So I really, really like Dylan Harper. I think he's going to be the point guard of the future down there in San Antonio.
Stephon Castle, though.
Off ball.
Yeah.
Off ball.
And he can play point, too.
He can play point, too. So you're going to have an opportunity to kind of develop and grow yourself into that role. And then I look at Ace Bailey and I look at a guy who, like I said, is a video game type of player. He can make any move. He can make any shot. Interesting for him to not work out for any teams. I think that ended up having him fall back a couple. I would have loved to see him in Philly with Paul George and be able to learn in that system. But he's going to go to Utah, and he's going to be in a position where he'll probably have the ball in his hands a lot, and he can probably make a lot of shots. And then they're not going to win very many games. So I like the future for both of those guys, but I really like the position that Dylan Harper is in moving forward because he's got a lot of talent.
Oh, I'm not in any way trying to, ascertain Utah has an MV3. Okay. Yeah. Like OKC's MV3. Gilgeous-Alexander, Holmgren, Jalen Williams.
Yep.
That's a most valuable three that will lead you to a title. But nevertheless, with Bailey and Clayton Jr., and Markkanen when he's healthy.
Yeah.
That's not a bad three right there.
Yeah, there's some guys in Utah. You add on Isaiah Collier, you add on Keontae George, some of these other young pieces. Like they have a lot of young pieces.
How many guards do they have?
They have a lot of guards.
Okay.
They have a lot of guards. I couldn't even really tell you who their bigs are besides
Klingon,
the Duke guy.
They have Walker Kessler still.
Walker Kessler,
and then they have
Klingon's Portland.
Who was the Duke? Kyle Filipowski. So they
do, yeah.
But it's just like that's not a front court that can win you a championship series.
Well, let's take that a step farther then.
Let's do it.
If the Minnesota Timberwolves are in the trade market to find a point guard, Utah no longer needs Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, Sexton, when he was at Alabama, man, I was so in love. It's like I've been to the NBA Summer League one time.
Yeah.
Do you know JP Makura?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, played at Xavier.
Yeah, great guy.
I've known his family in a roundabout way for X amount of years. So the opportunity to go watch him play for the Charlotte Summer League team when he came out of Xavier going into the NBA was made available. So went, watched the game before the Cavaliers were playing.
Yeah.
And I had known Colin Sexton because he played for the Crimson Tide in that weird game where they either beat the Gophers or got close 4-on-5.
With three players.
Yeah,
they
went down 5-on-3.
They went down to 3 players.
And Sexton was one.
And he killed us.
Wait, we lost. It was 3-on-5 and we lost?
3-on-5. Did we win or lose?
I don't know, man.
I gotta look. I just thought it was closer than it should have been given the situation.
Makes sense. So that's where Sexton was revealed to me.
Yeah.
So now I'm rolling into Thomas and Mack, and I'm like, we're early for the game, and I'm like, holy cow, look at Colin Sexton. Now it's the Summer League.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. And throughout his career, he's been good.
All right, Gophers won.
Yeah, Gophers won, but Alabama outscored us by 7 in the second half.
With the 3-on-5 bit?
They only lost by 5.
Colin Sexton had 40 points.
I mean, who coached Alabama? Jimmy Butler? Honestly, here's the deal, okay? I'm so sick of you guys that we're going to beat you 3-on-5. I'm going to take the worst 3 guys from the end of my bench, and we're going to find a way to beat you.
Oh, goodness.
All right, 3-2. But with Sexton, I've always, been a fan of his game. Ain't nobody trying to run down Mike Conley.
Yeah.
And yes, we're willing to wait to see what happens with Rob Dillingham.
Love that, PA.
And you have the 31st overall pick in the draft, which is the first one tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But Sexton is proven to a certain extent. And with Sexton, he's at about $19 million for the year and is a free agent after this season. Maybe we investigate him in the old trade market. What are you, league freak freakazoids think.
Kidding me?
I love that idea.
Why not, right?
Especially with a team in Utah that has so much youth and especially at their guard position. You talk about Keontae George, you talk about Bryce Sensabaugh, Isaiah Collier, you have Jordan Clarkson. Like, you have a lot of guys in that position where if you're the Timberwolves, I don't know what this 31st pick looks like. Like, there's a couple guys that I have my eye on. One of these guys is Rasheer Fleming. He's a player out of St. Joseph's that's kind of gone under the radar, a complete 3-and-D, shoots at a really high level from the 3-point. He's a guy that I like, but the point guard position is something where if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves that we have to figure out, because if we want to be that championship type caliber team, I don't know if a 1-2-3 punch with Dillingham, Conley, and DiVincenzo is enough.
Well, I like Sexton because I think that it's so tough to be hard on him for what happened in Utah because of all those guys. Like Chris Dunn was getting minutes, 4 or 5 different guys they were rotating in. Pie in the sky for me, though. I mean, with Harper going to San Antonio, De'Aaron Fox.
Yep.
De'Aaron Fox becomes very expendable in the long term for them, and he's coming off left pinky tendon related L. But I'd take a peek at that pie in the sky.
I like De'Aaron Fox a lot, and I like the Lonzo Ball, Kobe White bit as well. Obviously, Lonzo.
Somebody asked me last. Let's. I don't want to get too late here.
Totally.
Spend another segment with us, okay? Back after this.
My name is Desiree, and I'm a first-generation college student.
I'm Zach. I'm undecided in my major, and I'm a catcher.
This message was sent to you.
$500 down the toilet along with your performance. You are worthless.
Get the hell off the field before you lose me any more money, you sorry
This is wrong.
I'm more than a bet.
Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
All right, let me ask you this to close over the final segment. Several things coming at you, but I don't want to leave this out since we're kind of talking trade a little bit.
Totally.
And this is in fairness. It's I'm following some things that the right people have reported about people who potentially could be available. So if Derek White, a guard for the Celtics, is available, would you include Jaden McDaniels in that deal?
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, I'm 10 of 10 on that one.
Yeah, yes. It made me think for a second because as a true Wolves guy, I really do appreciate the defensive intensity Jaden brings. He's created himself as an offensive spark. He's an elite corner 3-point shooter.
No, he's not.
But Derek White does.
No, he's not.
You're right.
You can't say elite.
He's pretty good in the corners.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
But again, we can't take the Western Conference finals.
Yeah.
And I'm preaching to myself.
Yeah.
And make it gospel.
You're right.
But nevertheless, we now have seen over the course of a couple of years some things that are becoming common threads.
Yeah.
On whom can I rely and on whom can I not rely?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to leave it right there.
If I'm any NBA GM besides my maybe 1 and 2, I'm trading a lot of people for Derek White. He's a guy you want in your organization. He plays hard all 82 games. He does everything really, really well. That's why the Raptors were out to get him. A lot of teams are out to get him. He's a guy where if you're looking at Boston right now, I don't think they're blowing up ship. I don't know
what they're doing.
I don't know what they're exploding or what they're doing. I can't really figure out exactly what they have going on over there. But if Derek White becomes available, heck yeah.
Right.
All over that guy. All over him.
One thing about the draft tonight, the Minnesota Timberwolves have the first pick of the draft, so they get to choose anybody they want.
That's right.
One guy whose name I actually texted PA about it because I'm like, where's this guy's? Hello, like where is he? Yeah. He is a potential or maybe likely day 2 pick in this draft. A guy that you helped get onto our show. A guy that found his way deep into the NCAA tournament. Sadly, it didn't go their way in the end. What if Janai Broom, who is a Vikings fan, became a member of the Timberwolves tonight? What is he? 6'9", 6'10", 240. Put the basketball in the hoop a little bit. What if Janai became a member of the Howl this evening?
Yeah, high motor rebounder. Like you said, 6'9", 6'10".
That's a Julius Randle backup, right?
Yeah, I would say he fits the mold of a sort of big that can learn from Julius/Rudy. I think he fits more at a 4 position, but then can he guard some of the 4s? I don't know. I think he's more of a defensively a 5. he's a guy I think that you want because he's a winner, right? Like he's won at a lot of places. He's a guy that's really figured out how to win at a bunch of different places. So if you're the Wolves and you're looking to go, get some more depth in your front court, Janai is the name I pick right away. Now, if you're looking backcourt, I like two guys specifically, Chaz Lanier out of Tennessee. He's a 44% field goal shooter, 39% three-point shooter, quick release. And then the guy that I really like that I mentioned earlier is Rasheer Fleming. If you haven't heard of him, St. Joseph's, go watch some of his stuff. Really great 3-and-D, lengthy wing, can kind of do it all type of player.
Okay, now the Denver Nuggets. I mean, are the Nuggets becoming an afterthought despite having Joker and Jamal Murray? And the reason I bring it up is because they need bench fortification really, really badly, and didn't have a first-round pick this year due to the Aaron Gordon trade that took place 4 years ago. So even with Joker and Jamal, and that is an MB2.
Yeah.
Are they becoming a little bit of an... No, probably not, right?
Well, I'm trying to even look...
They pushed OKC to 7.
Yeah, I'm trying to even look if they have a second-round pick. I don't know if they even do. I think there's a lot of good in Denver, right? There's a lot of good. You just have to figure out if Jamal Murray's the guy you want in your backcourt, right? Like, you're obviously...
They don't have a second-round pick.
They don't. They got no picks.
Jeez.
So, they're locked up there. But I think if you're Denver, you have to look and have a real honest conversation with yourself. What can we do with a Christian Braun? What can we do with a Michael Porter Jr.? I really like their front court, Aaron Gordon and Jokic. I think that probably remains intact.
Me too.
If you're the Nuggets, I don't think you're afraid to blow up your backcourt in order to get some more pieces, maybe some draft picks. I like Jamal Murray, but that combo with Murray, Braun, and MPJ, I don't think it's a championship type of backcourt.
Okay, Big Ten steam to close because you played these guys.
Love it, yes.
What did the Hawks get in Maryland center Derek Queen?
Yeah, they got a guy that can really do it all. He absolutely killed us last year in the pick and roll, the 4-5 pick and roll, as a primary ball handler at 6'10", 6'11". He's super skilled. His coach, Kevin Willard at Maryland, said that if he was a white kid from Europe, he would be the number 1 overall pick. So just a guy that has a lot of talent, can do a lot of different things. I think they got.
Why would he say that?
I don't know. It's just.
Why would he think that? Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know. That's Kevin Willard for you. But Derek Queen, yeah, he operates in the mid range, operates at the 3-point level, handles the ball. I think he's Julius Randle-esque in that way. Now he's got to get stronger and got to get better inside, but he's going to be a really good talent for a lot of years in the NBA.
Is it
Kasparis Yakachonis? Yeah, they go 20 and 21 with him and Will Riley, Illinois boys. They came into the barn this year and put on a absolute shooting clinic against us. Yakachonis is a Dylan Harper type of guard in the pick and roll. One of those fake it high, pass it low, or fake it low, pass it high type of European point guards. He can shoot the ball at a high level from 3, but he's a table setter. He's an operator. And then Will Riley, he's Kevin Durant-esque in the mid range. He can handle the ball, physicality. He's a kid from Canada that was a really highly touted prospect.
Yeah.
He's going to have a long career in the NBA.
And he goes to the Wizards. Okay, so they get now, so don't need Clayton. You got this, and now you get this. Okay, so I see that a little bit.
Yep.
With the Heat and Yakachonis, he and Tyler Hero are going to have to coexist with Big Bad Bam. Tyler plays 1 and 2. The Illinois kid, is he strict 1 or how's he play?
Strict 1, yeah. He can play a little bit of 2, but if you have Tyler Hero and him in the game together, Yakachonis is the guy with the ball in his hands. Bam Adebayo is a guy that I look at kind of in this next couple of weeks of being an integral part of maybe some trades. I know I've heard the Golden State Warriors are really interested in him. There's some other teams that are kind of looking towards Bam Adebayo, but when you put those two together in a pick and roll, and with the ability of Bam Adebayo to kind of pick and pop a little bit now in his game, I really like that 1-4, that 1-5 ball screen with Yakachonis and Adebayo.
Jason Richardson's kid, Sparty, is heading to the Orlando Magic. What's his NBA outlook?
Yeah, just a pure left-handed scorer. Really likes to operate kind of on the right wing and get downhill to his left hand. I don't think he shoots it as well as he can moving forward, but shooting is something that can be developed, right? Like that's a skill that can be developed over time. And going to a team in Orlando that has a lot of positive things moving forward. They got Jalen Suggs, they got Paulo Banchero, they got the Wagner twins, or brothers, not twins. So I think they have a lot of really good pieces down there in Orlando, and you bring in a wing/guard that really likes to get downhill, plays aggressive, and one thing that's super underrated about his game is
and they have Desmond Bane.
They have Desmond Bane.
I mean, they gave up a lot for him, but Desmond can play.
But I think that's a great compliment with those two. Desmond Bane, a guy that really wants to kind of stay more on the perimeter and shoot threes. Then you bring in a Jace Richardson that wants to attack with his left hand, create contact, absorb contact, and shoot that little baby floater fadeaway in the middle of the paint. I think those two will complement each other really well down in the Sunshine State.
Brooklyn and the 27 spot, and Michigan's Danny Wolf.
Yeah, Danny Wolf. He's a Yale boy originally, then transferred to Michigan. I was actually his host when he visited the U on his visit, his official visit, and really got to know him well.
Do you take responsibility for the fact he didn't come here?
I guess I do, right? Well, when you're
you
talking,
guys play the same spot.
When you're talking Ivy League versus Minnesota, right? If he wants to go Ivy League, then so be it.
Understood.
He obviously eventually transfers back to Michigan, but he's kind of Jokic in a way. When operates on the top of the key, can shoot the three ball, but would rather get downhill to his right hand. Really good hands and feet, like defensively switchability onto guards, being able to put your hand in the cookie jar and get a piece of that ball. A lot of things that bigs can't do. He's a do-it-all type of guy. I don't know what that looks like in Brooklyn. I don't love what they have moving forward, but they have a lot of picks, and hopefully they're able to create a young core that has some possibility of competing in the East.
Lastly, 30 seconds, you get it all. The Penn State big, Yannick Conan Niederheiser.
Yeah, we played him twice last year. He didn't play in the first game. He was out. He was in a boot, I think, with an ankle sprain. But he's a young kid from I think Switzerland or somewhere overseas that has a huge upside. Probably a true 7 foot, long, athletic. Loves the spin move. Like his strict scout was one dribble spin move. So if you're an NBA team, just sit on the spin move. I remember doing it in practice. He was my guard, right? So I was guarding him, and he would just take one dribble and spin, and I was just standing there right there waiting for him. And sometimes when you're 7 foot with a 7'4" wingspan, you're going to finish over 6'8". Big guys do that well. But LA's, they could use him. Maybe they could use him running the court a little bit, creating some lob threats for James Harden. We saw what James Harden does in the pick and roll, especially in his pass with some of his lob passing ability. Yannick's a guy that can go up and catch it.
You, my friend, are the bomb. Thank you very much for the conversation. See you soon. All right.
See you soon.
Parker Fox at Parker Fox 24 via Twitter. Second hour begins with a Ben Lemur. Beloved Nacho joins us in studio next.
My name is Desiree, and I'm a first-generation college student.
I'm Zach. I'm undecided in my major, and I'm a catcher.
This message was sent to you.
$500 down the toilet along with your performance. You are worthless.
Get the hell off the field before you lose me any more money, you sorry
This is wrong.
I'm more than a bet.
Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.